everything I just said, just cut the last 60 seconds. If you're listening to this on the podcast, that means Jesse didn't do the hard work of going back and cutting it.
I'm going to make this the intro to the podcast.
Shit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, the show dedicated to talking about all the progress things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I am one of your co-hosts, Jesse Kazam.
And I'm Veritas, and I'm a scat man.
Scabba-dabba-dee,
Yep.
Oh, that actually reminds me of the most hilarious part of this podcast we're about to go over is Nikita. They always struggle with the audio between all their sources. And Nikita was like, let's check out the arena trailer one more time. And there was no audio. And like 30 seconds in, he was like making fun of chat. He was like, oh, no audio, no audio. He was like, he's like, we'll do it. So him and Demirko were like, oh, and then he was like yelling in Russian. And for like a minute, they were just doing the noise for the, it was so good.
That's too good. Oh, God.
But yeah, man, how you doing?
Good. There was a couple comments about the pizza incident last week. That was our way of announcing that this was now a mukbang.
Yep. Did you
Someone
see?
said something about mukbang. I'm like, are you fucking? I talked about pizza for like, I was disappointed in pizza
stream.
And I have to eat. I streamed for 14 hours yesterday. 14 hours. And I had a mug of tea, half of a Red Bull, and one pair of Pop-Tarts.
Nice.
14 hours. I got up once to feed my cat and take a piss.
Dude.
Sometimes I just gotta fucking eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, you gotta do it. You gotta find time. I'm the same way, dude. I got up at like 8 and it was at like 5:30. We were sitting down to eat dinner and I was like, I haven't eaten anything but like 3 peanut butter crackers yet and a coffee, which is dehydrates you, which is not good. Yeah. Did you see Seal's render of the pog crust? Like our own line of pizza, the pog crust? I was like,
when did he become like a 3D render god?
He's been doing it. He's been getting into it. Ever since like I've been talking about it and doing some other stuff. He's been like, he got into it a while back and then like dropped it. But then once he realized he can actually get access to all the like assets and stuff like that, he's gone ham.
Dude, some of those between him and there's another guy on Twitter that I don't want to forget his name, so I am pulling up Twitter and stalling so that I can scroll down through my notification feed. But apparently so many people tag me in things that, dude, it's so much further down than I thought.
There's a lot. There's chocolate eggnog.
It's chocolate eggnog.
Okay, yeah. He's done a few of my thumbnails. They're really good.
So fucking good, dude. Like, it's literally the background on my laptop now, and every time I open up my laptop, it used to just be like the default Mac fucking nebulous color changing whatever, and then now every time I open up my laptop, I'm like, whoa, sick. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, dude, he does really good work. Him, Hortus, Penguin, there's like a ton of guys that are just like getting super into it, and it's sick. It's pretty dope. But yeah, you've been Trackmania-ing?
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, the whole like Tarkov TV thing was today.
Yep.
And I
sure was.
Two people came into chat and asked me if I saw it. I said no, and nobody said anything. Nobody spoiled anything. So like, I am literally coming in. I am a nubile, virgin, unsullied young lad. Yeah. All right. Well, then, dude, there's some gems. There's some gems for sure. Was there mining? They gonna add mining? Yep. Taking the gems and a pickaxe. Yep. 100%. Honestly, dude, imagine if they added mining to Tarkov, or like the equivalent of, dude. Oh my God! It just occurred to me. The equivalent of, well, I guess looting is kind of like mining, going and collecting resources, but
yeah. Base building.
The one thing they're missing is collectible monsters. Conceptually, I mean. Yeah. Like, I used to go, ignoring like the collector quests for the Kappa, there have been times where I have been like, I want to collect one of every such and such, and like almost like keep them in a little box where it was, that would be sick if there were collectibles. You know how in like MMOs there's like
like trophies or something, where it's like a thing, and when you earn that thing, it just gives your character a permanent buff forever because you like have the trophy now. Like imagine like either really rare items or like really long quest lines, and it's like a thing that you can either find, like some of them they're only found in the world that are like 0.000, I mean just like crazy rare, or really long quest lines, and it's like once you get the thing, you can then see it in your hideout, and it's like plus 5% XP from all quests forever. If you found it day one of the wipe, sick. If you grinded the quest line for it later, like just like little things that actually sit in your hideout that give these little buffs.
Imagine just a bunch of shelves that are all empty with like plaques on them.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe you walk up to them and if you look at them, there'll be like a little pop-up on screen that will kind of show you what the tiny little plaque has carved in. And it's like, get 10,000 headshots or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's all dusty. It's just dusty until you get like one there. And then it's just
so
like a
sick
fucking trophy. And then
trophies,
you want to fill out the whole wall.
Trophies for stuff like that would actually be sick. Like so many headshots, so many scav kills, so many PMC kills, so many items looted. Like, you know what I mean? Because then at the end of the wipe, you could really like look back at your play style. You know what I mean? I got like items looted, scav kills, this. I'm like a survivalist. Or I got like headshots and PMCs killed. You know, you're a PvP guy. That would be kind of sick.
Oh, yeah. Like the little figures from Fallout.
Yeah.
I think that might have been Fallout. Figures
the
in
Pip
game
Boys or whatever.
I'm trying to remember what they. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
dude, and you could buy like a shelf. Like it was one of like the items. I used to love, dude, in Fallout 4, I think was the one I'm thinking of where, the one with base building.
Yeah.
What I would do, like I'd have a big giant open garage basically, and it would be like power armor, little shelf full with figurines, another power armor like on a fucking, I don't know if they were on stands or whatever, but that was like for the month I played the game, that was like my trophy room.
Yeah,
you know?
All the power armors and then all your little bobbleheads. That's actually cool.
It was kind of like Minecraft. Did you ever play Minecraft?
Not much, no.
So when you mine, if you mine like a bunch of diamond, for example, you get like an individual diamond. And then if you go craft, I believe it's 3x3, then it turns it into a block. It's you know how you place a block of dirt? It's like a block of diamond. So what I would almost always do is I would go make a fucking strip mine that was like the most efficient multi-level thing like I got all into that.
That's so
But then
funny.
I'd have like a giant fucking house on the top of a mountain. And then the top floor was always like glass everywhere and just stacks, like pillars of diamond and a pillar of gold and a pillar of silver and a pillar of lapis and like redstone blocks. And it just looks sick. It's like just a trophy room that you could make bigger and bigger and bigger.
A really cool thing to add to the hideout in some way, shape, or form. Like that could be really cool. That could be really cool.
So let's not talk about all of the cool things that will never be in the game. Let's talk about the cool things that are going to be in the game.
Yeah. So they started the podcast, Tarkov TV. They were building it up. He was, Nikita was tweeting. He was like, "We're going to show you some cool stuff," and it was super exciting. They wanted to do Twitch drops, and they even said they were going to be Twitch drops. But then basically the way Nikita said it is he was like, we couldn't do what we wanted to do for Twitch drops. I guess they were like frustrated at the functionality of Twitch drops. So he's like, instead, we're doing this thing where we're gonna we're gonna have codes that you can redeem on the website. And you can imagine what happened 30 seconds later.
Did the website go down?
Yeah, for the rest of the podcast.
Just fucking DDoS.
Yeah, basically, like they just got absolutely annihilated. And then what would have been a really cool thing turned into just frustration because it was just 57,000 people whining the entire time. My code doesn't work. My free loot's not here. My code doesn't work. And then
it's worse than exclamation point drops.
And then Nikita was getting frustrated. I think he was getting frustrated at his team that the website went down because, like, I guess they tried to prepare for it, but they didn't. And because I don't know if they were getting DDoS, like actually attacked, or they just weren't prepared for the traffic. I don't know. I'm not a web developer, right? So
yeah.
But If you tried basically nonstop the entire podcast, you could get most of the codes through, but it was just like a crapshoot on if you refreshed, if it was actually going to pull up and you could put in your code.
And was it the same kind of packages as drops?
It was good. It was decent loot. It was always like, each one was like a kit. Like the first one was like an MP7, 440 rounders, 100 rounds of APSX, and an armor. And then like one was, you know, a slick and a G28 with 3 mags and like 60 rounds of M61 instead of hundreds of rounds of M61. It was like one kit's worth of, and it was 5 of those. And then the last one, which the fewest people got because there was the least amount of time to try, was like a weapons case.
Dude, they should have just had a button on the website during this period.
Yeah.
Where you would just go open your profile and say, enable in-game drops for dev stream. Just a one-off button. And all that would do is put your name. It would just set a true value on your name. And then every time there was a drop, they would just send it to all the people.
Yeah, they could almost...
Then you wouldn't have to put a code. Did they put it in chat?
Yeah,
or were they like
it was
words?
up on the screen. It was words. It was like Lighthouse 2022 was the first one. And then like... the last one was we will there be or something, like it was.
Oh, you know how many people were like,
100%
type that right?
It was so funny.
But that's just another one of those things. Like,
yeah, but it was hard because they were trying to. They wanted to do something that the Twitch drops couldn't enable them to do. They were trying to give out some free loot, and it just got so. And it was so frustrating because it turned so sour. The community was just so sour about it. It's like, dude, it's like 14 minutes ago you weren't expecting any of this loot, and now that it's there and you can't get it, it's just like you're
people want free shit and they just
that's what I said.
Over themselves.
I was like, they continuously underestimate how much people want free stuff, especially in this game.
Tickle Me Elmo in 1998 or whatever. Remember, people were dying getting trampled in Walmarts.
Yeah, but other than that, they talked about a whole lot of stuff. Basically,
hit me with it.
I broke it up into one of the first things he said is the next patch that's coming will be a wipe. It's this big patch with all this stuff, but it's not. He didn't give a date. And basically, him not giving a date means, in my opinion, it's not like this month. If he's like next week, it'll be 3 weeks from now. If he's like tomorrow, it'll be tomorrow. And if he's like soon, it's not, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not.
My gut reaction is like end of August would be the first, like the last week of August would be the first possible
like
time.
The earliest like available time slot.
7 or 8 weeks is basically as far as like you would estimate to where you're like not saying.
Yeah.
If it was 4 weeks, you'd probably say 6 weeks. As soon as it's 2 months, there's just too much variation.
Yeah.
And can go wrong. Yeah.
So anywhere between tomorrow and November is all I'm confident saying. Like, you know what I mean? So, but the next patch is going to be a wipe. And then what's confusing to me is how Streets jumbles into that. Because they were like, we want the Lighthouse expansion soon, and then we want Streets before the fall. And then they're like, okay, this next patch is going to be a wipe, but we're not sure when it is. And it's like, well, we're already almost halfway through summer. So if this patch gets delayed by another month, we're going to be end of summer. Are you going to be squeezing Streets in, or is it exactly what we thought? And, you know, the spring patch is the end of summer patch. The end of summer patch is the December patch. Most likely that's probably what it is. It's exactly what everybody thought. December we'll get Streets, and we'll actually get, who knows? But so we don't.
So is the idea that with the timing of it, it could be like, I really wouldn't want Streets without a wipe.
See, I would personally. I don't see them doing it from a PR perspective. I think we talked about this before.
You don't want them to wipe for Streets?
Correct. I don't want them to wipe for Streets. I think because all I want to do is play Streets. I don't want to be worried about killing 3 scavs on customs on the Streets day. I've been waiting for Streets for 4.5 years. I want to play Streets. You know what I mean? And let's assume that their time schedule is going to work out here, which is, you know, a big stretch. But I actually think this is the perfect way to do it, where you don't want to put in Streets 6 months into a wipe. You know what I mean? Because it's like Streets is going to attract a lot of new players, and you're going to have a lot of people at level 70, and it's just going to be weird. So, like, let's say the patch comes out in a month, and then in like September, they put out Streets. Like 3 months in, there's still a huge, the attention on Tarkov is still high. The amount of people playing it is still high. There's still a huge variation of people. Not a lot of people have left yet. So if we get a big influx of players, then it's not nearly as bad. It's kind of best of both worlds. Like the veterans, the people who are really here and excited for Streets will have at least their early game quests done and can just go vibe on Streets with some money and some gear. And if you're new to the game, it's not like you're only coming across. Like if you're new to the game right now playing customs, it's like, you know, and you're running into me and Velian, it's like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
Dude, this is the first time I've ever considered this would be my version of hardcore. I've never considered, never wanted to, but I would do a 0 to 40 or whatever it is, Streets only. I'll have level 1 traders and just play Streets.
That would be so
a month
sick.
Or whatever. I think I honestly might do that because I'm so like meh.
Yeah, on the rest of it.
Yeah. Like I've played customs 957 times. I just
that would really be sick. That would be sick. You'd have level 1 traders. You could even potentially try and get some of your traders to like level 2 with daily tasks and stuff like that. Because once you get to 15, you start getting dailies. So instead of, you know, by 1 to 40, instead of getting max level traders, even if to see if you can get them to level 2 traders would be sick. You know what I mean? Like you.
And I feel like there's almost no way that you won't be able to get everything there, like meds, ammo, guns.
Yeah, there's going to be bosses. So getting good guns and good armor is going to be at least doable. Getting meds and attachments, like that would actually be sick.
I have to say, the first time in like almost 2 months that my excitement is non-zero.
Yeah, it went up to 7 out of 100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, yeah. So now that is contingent on like if this patch gets delayed a month or 2 and then Streets gets delayed, then we're gonna be in this weird spot. Like if we wipe in August and it's December, that'll be weird. It's like, oh wait, are you gonna put out Streets without a wipe here, or do you just wipe again? And then I would hate if they wiped with Streets. But I think I'm already thinking way too far ahead. They have no idea what the hell is gonna happen. So he did double down. I mean, we'll talk about the Streets at the end, but he did double down on the saying that Streets was coming soon. So I don't know. But anyway, so other than that, we did get a lot of the confirmed wipe, not confirmed date, and then a lot of other stuff we got confirmed. So they showed us some guns. The G36 is finally coming, and the whole G36 family. He listed off like 8 variations. I don't know. The G36C is the one that's like the most recognizable, the shorter one. So the G36 is coming and the whole family. The Benelli M3 shotgun, which I
think I saw that in like the arena trailer, maybe.
Yeah.
Or like some of the arena footage just now. I just pulled up the dev stream and scrubbed through it and saw a new shotgun.
Yeah. The Benelli, you're going to be able to switch between pump and semi. And it has like an animation. Apparently that's a thing where you like pull the stock forward and then you can like pow, 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 pow. And then he pulled it back and it was pump. I don't know why you'd ever do that. Be
probably like the revolver where you get some sort of benefit, like it's a trade-off, right? Like more, they would do something like less spread.
Yeah.
You know, which honestly makes sense.
Yeah. And it's just cool. Like, because you can do that in real life with that shotgun. So they modeled that, which was cool. They showed off a new AK. It's called the RD704. It's another 7.62x39 AK, but it looks like an AK. You know how the mutant, like if you take the mag out, looks like an M4? And then you see the AK style mag in it, and you're like, oh, that's a mutant.
That's the telltale sign of.
This looks like an AK. It looks like a 5.45 AK, but it's a full auto, like 7.62. It's just like a cool modern AK. It looks like different than the old, like the other AKs we have, but not like the mutant. It just looks cool. They showed footage of the grenade launcher, the 8-tube or the 6-tube one that Big Pipe will have. It will be lootable.
Like, thump, 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 or is it like
thunk, 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 thunk?
Off.
But he said, this was the question that I wanted to know. He said the singular and only way you get this is by killing Big Pipe. Like, I don't think it's going to be available on the fleet, and I don't think there's going to be a barter for it from the traders. Like, you have to kill Big Pipe to get it. And I don't think, like, most of the bosses spawn with a variation of different guns now. So you have to find Big Pipe. He has to have the thing. And then the ammo, like right now, like somebody gave me a viewer kit, like a meme kit of the GL, and you can only buy 1 round for 3 hours. And then The rest of them you have to find. So the ammo is not available. The gun will be not very available, but it is in the game.
Wait, you said someone gave you a meme kit. Which? Oh, is it the existing GL?
Yeah. The single loaded one. So, so that'll be interesting. It will be lootable though, which is what I've been telling people. A lot of people are like, no, it's not gonna be lootable. I was like, dude, they're modeling that gun like it's
copium, dude.
Yeah,
that's what that was. I was on the copium train. Trust me.
No, dude, I was like, that thing is gonna be lootable. And then they showed off a 338 Lapua bolt action. Gimme. Yeah, it's gonna be sick, and they're gonna have a suppressor for it.
Is that what the Thor's hammer or whatever the fuck it is called?
Oh, the Mjolnir or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one we have, the Mark 18.
But that's the only caliber.
Yes.
That's that caliber, right?
Yep. The Mark 18, the big. There's gonna be a bolt action for that now, which is so sick. Gimme. That it's so much more practical as a bolt action because those bullets fly fast and those bullets hit hard. So it will it's the Mark.
You're more likely to one tap.
Yes, the Mark 18 is not worth using right now because of the insanely prohibitive way to get it. The only way you can purchase it is by killing Sturman 25 times, and the ammo's super expensive, and it's just like such a huge L to lose, especially if it's semi-auto. So if you want to bring 3 or 4 mags and some extra ammo, I don't know if you can top load it, but like bringing the Bolty with 1 10-round mag and then just ammo in your container and a pistol or an SMG, like that is going to crush. That thing is going to be nuts. And there's going to be a suppressor for it as well. So that's super exciting. So he said there's going to be a bunch more guns, but those are the only ones that they showed so far. There was another AK variant teased in the flavor text of something. There was like a daily quest that they hovered over, and the reward was an AK we don't have in the game yet, and everybody was like, so, but I mean, it's just a gun, right? They showed off, it looked like they didn't add new cosmetics, but they went back through and redid the like stock USEC and stock bear clothes and made them a little cooler. I guess brought them up to line with like how high fidelity and how cool all the new cosmetics are. Cause like that USEC lower and upper were, I mean, the alpha days, right? 2016. So like, so they kind of like made those a little bit cooler. Oh yeah. They did show one more gun. It's a break action, single load 7.62x54R. So imagine a Mosin, but when you pull the trigger, you have to break it, pull the round out, and put a new round in. And it was so sick.
Like the double barrel shotgun, basically.
But one round. It's gonna be the best meme kit ever, dude.
I was gonna say that's like you gotta be real. You gotta be down hard to use that, unless it's a meme.
If you can put a scope on it, that would actually be the goated rogue clearer. You know, your right side peeking, you know what I mean? 6,000 rubles or whatever. Like it was so funny. Demirka was running around the factory with it. Okay, so this next one, they almost like accidentally teased it because they all yelled in Russian when we saw this on screen. But they're adding offline co-op in this patch.
That was one thing that someone there was Tower mentioned for testing.
Yeah. But for Edge of Darkness players only.
Interesting.
Yes. So basically this is what they said. So in the past, when people have asked for offline co-op, basically Nikita's response was always like, offline co-op is online. You need the internet to co-op with someone. So when you
just not
when you go into an offline raid right now, you're just spinning up basically a fake server locally on your machine server, and you're doing your thing. And so the thing they've always said was, he's always been like, offline co-op is not offline and we don't have the server space. So basically in this patch, in this thing, when people were asking about it, he was like, offline. He's like, they will be on our servers. We are not allowing people to host their own servers. Like, they're really protective of their, code, their servers, whatever. And I don't know freaking why. I'm not a game dev. But he's like, so they're going to be our servers. So we got more servers specifically for this. So to start, it's going to be for EOD players only. And everybody in the group that you invite has to have EOD as well. because we're trying to mitigate the load to see how many people are going to be using it. To see, listen, all I'm here to say is relay what he said. And then he said that they might eventually open it up to everybody. So that was like,
that's an interesting.
Chat was like,
oh God, it's not gonna help the whole. They just want money.
No
conspiracy.
It's not gonna help with that at all.
Yeah. Because there's a million ways they could have just made a queue or something where it was like,
where it's only ever going to take this much server space. So if there are more people, then you're just in the queue.
There's a way. Yeah.
People would have liked that better than that because over like the large majority of why people want that is like to teach new players stuff, to help. You know what I mean? If you're a new player and your buddy can help you stuff, it's like, if you're new, you probably don't have EOD. You know what I mean? So like, yeah. Now for the content creation stuff, it's going to be sick because you're going to be able to invite up to 11 people into a raid
and actually do proper cinematic.
Yes, you can do proper. And they even said he is considering adding content creation dev tools to it later, like maybe like detaching the camera or something. He didn't list that specifically, but he did specifically say like content creation tools potentially later.
Dude, these last 2 podcasts, there have been like 27 things that I have been begging him for.
Yeah.
That not that he said planned or soon, but were probably not.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I fucking like leave and stop playing the game for a few months, I'm not alluding to the fact that it's somehow like, but it's
just timing. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It definitely feels.
I mean, that sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. Being able to go offline to test things, like doing a Veritas science video, you being able to invite Tower, Lennon, Fluven, and just be like, stand here, I'm gonna do this. That's gonna be incredible. For some content creation stuff, say I'm doing like a narrative driven thing and I want to give the buddies back and recreate a scene, gonna be sick. But none of those things felt like why people were asking, right? Like none of those things felt like why people were asking for offline co-op, and those people are left in the lurch because you have to be EOD and the entire group has to be EOD. But he said potentially that's not a forever thing. I would really, really hope that they would eventually bring it to everybody. But that's offline co-op, and that's pretty cool. They showed off more of the expansion. And bro, Nikita was actually getting mad.
Monka?
Like freaking Demirka, dude. Bless his soul. But like, so he spawned in on Lighthouse and had to run to the expansion. Like he didn't spawn at the expansion. Like he didn't choose a spawn. He spawned in. And he like went the wrong way. He was like trying to go like around something you can't go around. And chat was like, oh my God. And then he was trying to go back the other way. And one singular scav spawned in near him. And
one tapped him?
No, like worse. Just like kept shooting him. And Demirka, like, he pulled up, he had the AK and he was like, and he got like a blacked arm and he was trying to shoot him with the iron sights. And then he tried to switch to the G36, but he switched to the pistol. And then
he
like,
was like just panicking.
Dude, yes. And you know how at distance sometimes the lasers are off? Like if you have a laser on, and you like zoom in. So like he had a pistol with a laser on and the laser would be way higher than his iron sights. And he kept putting the laser on the scav's head. And then he switched to the G36 and finally killed the scav. But he had a black leg and he didn't bring any meds. So after all that,
he had to leave?
He left.
No, dude.
After all that, he left the match and then just re-queued. And Nikita was dude, it was ridiculous. So then he re-queued and then he was like walked through the whole Lighthouse expansion.
Was he like laughing or was it like not?
I mean, Demirka
funny?
was laughing, but like Nikita was just yelling in Russian. I mean, Nikita was laughing because all of us were laughing, but I think he was like, "Come on, dude! Like, we're wasting time. Yeah,
time is of the fucking essence, homie."
Now,
dude, that's too funny.
What's interesting about the Lighthouse expansion was basically what they said is he didn't specifically say that the trader is not going to be in with the first, like with the Lighthouse expansion, but he said when the expansion releases, the bridge will be open. You'll be able to cross it and you'll be able to go in that whole expansion area, but not the Lighthouse building. And then later, with a series of events, they're closing it back down. And at that point, you will need some sort of access to it. Because that's what they said in the past. They, like, from the very beginning, when they first talked about Lighthouse, they were like, there's going to be a trader and he's going to be back out there, and you're going to need some sort of access to him so that the snipers won't snipe you. So basically,
sniper no sniping.
So they're like opening it up so everybody can like go head over there and see it and play on it. But then they're going to do some in-game events that bring in the trader and bring in the lore of like, you need, I don't know if it's an access card. I don't know if it's a password. I don't know if it's a quest, but they've
one of those yellow traffic vests.
Yeah. But they've said that in the past that you were going to need some sort of access to him. So that's going to be like the rollout of the expansion. Everybody's going to be able to go play it and test it out. And then they'll do some in-game events. And then you'll need to like get something to get out there and get to the trader.
Dude, that's so funny. Apparently he stepped on a mine too.
Oh yeah. And then Demirka stepped on a mine. Yeah.
Oh, what a ding. I feel so bad.
And that was how
him.
He died. He was walking up to the Lighthouse building and he died. And then Nikita was like, so that's the Lighthouse expansion. And they just like moved on. He was like, we're not doing this again.
Oh no.
Oh my God, dude. It was funny, but he was not happy. So we saw the expansion, but we didn't really like see anything other than like, because we got that like 2-minute trailer in the last podcast. That was like 2 months ago. That was like just free camming. It was the more cinematic trailer. So we saw, buildings and loot and stuff, and it looks really cool, but like there wasn't any AI out there. There weren't any bosses out there. The trader wasn't there yet. So it was just like, yeah, cool. Like more of that. This is really cool. You now have like, how the compass has a slot it goes in that can't be lootable. And like that whole slot used to not be there. Now there's 3 slots that just say S for special.
Oh my God. They're fucking doing all the things, man.
Yeah. So he said these are going to be for compasses, range finders, and he said radio sets eventually. So I don't know that radio sets are coming, but dude, we had that whole podcast a few months ago. We were talking about how cool radio sets and like Blue Force trackers and all that kind of stuff could be. So he said radio sets. So now we have 3 special slots. And so it'll be nice to be able to permanently have a rangefinder on if you're on woods, if you're doing long shots on Lighthouse, like, because that's the thing is you buy it, you bring it, you forget to bind it, you die with it, you forget to buy another one, and it just quickly became irrelevant. It's like, I'm not going to remember to do this every time. But if it was just always bound to P or whatever, then when you need it, you can just have it. So that's cool. So 3.
Are there any other ideas as to what else it might be other than rangefinder?
He said rangefinder, compass, and radio sets. There could be more. Ideally, in the future, right? A Leatherman multi-tool would go there so that you can disassemble guns in raid.
Oh yeah.
But he didn't say that.
Copium.
But yeah, that's some copium. That would be sick.
We've been waiting for that forever because the multi-tool's been in the game forever.
Yeah, and literally when you double click on the multi-tool, that is a thing in the game and has been forever. It literally says, use this to be able to disassemble weapons in raid. Like, I remember like somebody, a Reddit thread blew up like a year ago where it was like they added the multi-tool functionality because that person had just read the flavor text and thought it was new. And then 10,000 other people that had never read the flavor text all saw it and was like, oh, it's new. And then everybody got into raid and was like, wait, this is just how it's always been. Like, and it's like, yeah, we've been waiting that long for that functionality. So, so we'll see. But that would be cool. So those special slots, I like that idea. I like adding some more utility items that you don't have to buy every raid because it just doesn't matter. If you have a compass, you're not going to be looting somebody else's compass. You know what I mean? So make it a special thing, make it locked. And I think that's cool. They showed off some flares. So in the past, they showed off that flare gun. Do you remember that? It was like the little one-shot flare gun. Well, they also
or like airdrops.
Yep. So they showed off it was that again, but then they also have like long stick ones. They were 1x2s, and he pulled it and like you like twist the thing, and the flare shoots out of the little pipe thing you're holding. So they're like stick flares and then flare rounds. This was actually interesting. So like there will be some functionality for just flares, like just like lighting up the night sky. Like they were in a day raid, but like I really want to know how much it illuminates the night. Like, you know what I mean? Like that could be
Imagine
sick.
You've got your fucking nods and you're like, oh, dude, it would be like a flashbang.
It could be so sick. It could be so sick. So
yeah.
So he said there's different color flares. The red one will be the one that calls in airdrops. And in this wipe, they're adding the 4 different airdrop types. Common, supply, medical, and weapon. So medical will have like meds, food, and water. Common, I think, will be like what we have now, which is like you can kind of maybe get a little bit of everything. Weapon is going to be all weapons, ammos, and armors. And supply will be like looting a giant technical supply crate. Wires, circuit boards.
Dude, they should have one with fucking containers. Like it would have like a weapon case.
That would
maybe
be insane.
It's 1 out of every 100
for sure.
Because that's what I have always wanted was like the marked room. Make the keys super rare, whatever, and make it so that you go in there and it's an ammo case and a weapon case.
100%.
Because you can't put them in your gamma. So no matter who you are, it's always like, oh fuck, you have to survive.
Yep. I know. I agree. I think that would be sick. I think it'd be cool to have like a super rare chance for a case. Like I think that would be super sick. So, and then he said there are green and blue flares. He said they don't have a function yet, but he specifically said they'll be used later for quests. So I don't know what that means. I'm assuming he's alluding to like the main quests that they've been talking about for years now, like the main storyline. There's going to be some sort of flares that you need or something. But they looked cool. He shot one off. He was like airdrops don't work in offline mode right now, so they couldn't actually show an airdrop coming in, but and then he talked about the bosses, Big Pipe and Bird Eye and Ghost.
Bird Eye? I don't remember that being his fucking name. Oh yeah, I know you're. Does he have long hair?
Yeah, that's the one that looks like Clean. And then Ghost had the skull mask and Big Pipe had the big pipe.
Looks like Clean. I never put that.
Dude, he looked like Clean with a bandana. So those bosses will apparently have the ability to spawn on other maps too. It's not just Lighthouse. And like you're gonna he was saying a bunch of weird stuff. He's like, you're gonna have to go find them, maybe certain times of day or certain days of the week they'll spawn on other maps. But he called them roaming bosses. So there'll be bosses that which kind of makes sense if they're testing out. They talked about that a long time ago for Streets, that there's the possibility for like Scav boss meetups and just like weird stuff to dynamically happen where the bosses are moving around. So they're probably testing that with these 3. I mean, they've been doing that a lot with the events and stuff like that, but this will be like a more permanent, they're just moving around all the time, which will be cool, man. Like that also makes, in my opinion, without thinking about it too much or seeing a way to exploit it, that is actually better, right? Like, remember when the Killa armor was the most common armor in the game because all you had to do was run in with a Keter and you could stun lock him and he was easy?
Yeah.
But imagine Killa didn't spawn on interchange. Imagine Killa just spawned sometimes.
Anywhere.
It would be impossible to farm him, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if the GL is on Big Pipe, but where the hell is Big Pipe? You're not on a 24-hour marathon to farm GLs because you don't know where the hell he's going to spawn. You're just playing Tarkov. Sometimes you'll run into Big Pipe, and if you win, you might get a GL. I think that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? That's a lot better than just like the tracksuit grind where it's like spawn in, run in, kill is not there, run out, go no backpack, spawn in, run in, kill is not there. So that feels to me like a lot better potential for that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
100% agree.
So that's kind of cool. So roaming bosses, bada bing. They showed off. Oh, dude, this is one. We'll jump to this one because this one I'm most excited about. They showed off working IR illuminators and lasers under night vision. So he had nods, and he said they had to rework how night vision is in Tarkov to make these work. So I'm hoping that just night vision is better now and more clear.
Because it's been dog shit for a million years.
So I'm hoping night vision is look cool. So the video they showed was complete black, and then he pulled down his quad nods, and you were like, oh, the night vision looks cool. He clicked on a flashlight, and it like illuminated the area, and then he took off the night vision, and it was still completely black. And everybody was like, yes! Like, it looks so sick. It looks so dope.
So did the not, because honestly, like the quad nods were the only ones that actually like were remotely decent.
Yeah.
They looked better.
Yeah, I mean, it was the quad nods, but it just looked a little cleaner.
Oh, okay.
Like, not brighter, but like cleaner. Does that make sense? Like, the darker areas actually seemed darker, but it was like better at contrast. It looked less like a literal green piece of plastic you taped to your glasses, and more like blacks are still black, but lights are green. Not just everything's green. How bright or dark of green is it? You know what I mean? So it felt better. So we'll see. But working IR flashlights and lasers, that could alone be like a game changer for NVGs, dude. Like, I mean,
it would be a game changer for the game, because night raids are fucking god awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if that means they're fucking reworking the lighting, because the lighting is another one of the
lighting, and like we need the consistency of the maps. Like I gamer mauled at the fact that you can't shoot out the construction lights in the Shoreline Resort. But you can on literally every other map. You can shoot out the construction lights.
Wait, on Shoreline Resort?
Yeah.
There's a couple that you can, and a few that you can't. I'm pretty sure there are a few that you can.
I don't think you can at all.
But either I could be wrong. I might be misremembering.
Like, Interchange was the map that you used to not be able to shoot out the lights, and then now you can. Like, they made every single light on Interchange shootable. And then they're all the ones on Customs you can shoot. All the ones on Reserve you can shoot. But Shoreline, toast. Just can't. In the resort, at least. Maybe there's ones elsewhere that you can shoot, but in the resort, you can't shoot any of the lights, and it triggers me. Because they literally, like, they have, in, like, West Wing second floor, there's a construction light, like, on either side of a room facing each other. So both directions you're just running into complete white with NVGs on until you get to the other side.
Yeah, with a flashlight, it's not going to help you. NVGs aren't going to help you. And then Interchange, it's too light. It's nighttime, too dark on the inside during the day. It's you do fucking post effects, and they work for one map and not the other.
Yep, So hopefully they do a lighting thing with that, but working IR stuff is just it was one of those things where it was like, oh, sweet. Like, nobody was expecting that. We've been wanting it for so long. They haven't talked about it forever, and it's coming along like a whole rework of night vision, which is good. But good. Good. 2 more USEC voices and 2 more bear voices, and both of the bear voices will be broken English Russian bear voices, which is kind of cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Simple, but people have been asking for broken English bear for a really long time. They showed off.
Now that there's VoIP, now that it's
exactly,
not to be negative Nancy, but now that it's like the least relevant it's ever been.
Yep. True.
I'm definitely gonna be bear. The only reason why I haven't been bear is because there wasn't VoIP and there wasn't broken English. As soon as they added VoIP, I'm like, gonna be bear next wipe.
Yep. Yeah. The only thing I'm worried about is the wipe will come with the Lighthouse expansion, so I'll want to play a lot of Lighthouse, and the rogues are even more omega awful to bears than they are to USEC.
Are they really any worse than if you're USEC and you just farm them every raid? Because isn't there like a cooldown?
I don't know that works. Here's the thing. They're not inside the cone. They're not harder to farm. The cone of aggression is just so much farther. So like you can be like looting the village and they'll shoot at you if you're a bear. Whereas if you're a USEC... Has
anybody done any real hard science on that?
I play with bears and it's super annoying.
And are you like, will you stand in the same place? Like, I mean, like real nerd controlled testing it's like...
No, but I can tell you with 100% certainty that I've stood in places with USEC friends and not gotten shot by bears, and stood in the exact same spot with bear friends and gotten shot by the rogues. Like with 100% certainty. Not very many of those places I can put that much certainty behind, but like this one place in particular, I've died like 4 times forgetting I'm playing with geeks. Because I like run this particular route all the time, and then they just like beam me, and I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, you can't get that close. And I'm like, oh, I can get that close. You know what I mean? Like, but outside of that, there hasn't been a whole lot of like super scientific testing.
I'll take your word for it.
It'd be a great offline with like an alt account. You know what I mean? Make the alt bear.
But they don't use, it's not the same AI in offline mode.
Yeah.
All of your tests don't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they have fucking 8 billion lines of code for offline and for online.
Yep. AMD FSR is coming, which is the open source AMD-backed DLSS alternative, which I think is good because now anybody with any card, especially since DLSS required a 20 series or higher, like the people that need this the most will now be able to use it. And it might be bad. Like I don't use DLSS on my rig. DLSS looks worse and doesn't give me a performance gain. I will say if the video that they used to show off FSR is to be believed, there was much less visual artifacting using FSR than with DLSS. He was like running in the rain in the example, and it looked way better. Like as soon as it starts raining with DLSS on, it's like, oh my God, like it's bad. At least it was for me.
Yeah, the first time I did it, it was like if you've ever had glasses that are like dirty.
Yeah.
Like smudges on them.
And like there'd be like crazy halos around objects, like super white halos if the object was wet and the ground was dry or whatever. Like it was very weird. So now I don't know if their little marketing video is to be believed, but if it is, FSR could be a great alternative. And you can use it with NVIDIA cards too. Like that's the thing about AMD is that it's open source, so anybody can use it. So that's just like a net positive, right? If you don't use it, that's fine, but it might help some people get better frames. So
yeah.
They're introducing daily quests for scavs through Fence.
Yes. Okay.
That's exciting.
I can't wait for the wipe just so
reset your karma.
I was gonna say so I can scav again, but I never really scavved, so I guess it's kind of moot.
But now you might, right?
I mean, now if I want to, it's like literally possible.
Yeah.
Before it wasn't. Oh, just don't kill Santa.
Yeah. I mean, that was.
You, Santa's not real.
But they showed off Scav Daily where it was the quest was kill 7 PMCs in 24 hours. So that's like, that makes sense. I'm sure there's going to be some like find and transfer, you know what I mean? Like go find this item as a scav or whatever. But that was cool. And that'll be under your operational tasks. And it has like a little another like logo next to it to show that it's for your scav. Great additional way to get karma. You know what I mean? Like, which is good.
Right now there's like very limited.
Yeah, it's just like take all the cars a bunch and then survive. You know what I mean? And it's like,
as a PMC, take the car a bunch.
Yeah, this scaling is nuts. Okay, so like they did the event last week or 2 weeks ago where Killa and Tagilla spawned 100% of the time on Lighthouse. We talked about that event, right? You didn't play it, but they were there 100%. I had like 7 scav karma, like 7.0, 7.5. So I was like, you need 6.0 to get max karma. And you can go higher, but it doesn't do anything for you. And so I had like leeway, bro. And I spawned in as a scav. And I saw Tagilla, and he was aggroed on me because that was part of the event. They were just instant aggroed on everyone, no matter what your karma. So I was like,
no.
I was like, F you, dude. And so I was like sitting in a house, and I was like, chat, how much karma do you lose for killing a boss? And everybody was like,
chat got it right.
Everyone, well, it scales weird. And over 6.0, the scaling is like 10x because people were like 0.3 or like 0.2.
Isn't that what happened to one
whatever?
egg?
Yeah. Or I don't know what happened. Yeah. 0.3, 0.2, 0.5. Some people like, I think it does a little bit more once you're over 6, like maybe 1. I was like, I got it to spare. I killed him, dude, and I lost like 1.7 karma It was like an enormous, like 1,700 survives on your scav worth, or 170. It was just like so ridiculous. I was like, dude, screw you, game.
Oh man, it must feel real bad to have positive 6.1 or whatever.
Yeah. I'm like 5.8, man. I'm basically 0 at this point. And then the last thing that they showed off as a part of the new patch was the new animation suite
that we saw. Like a little preview of last time, or is it different?
So the preview that they showed was like in the dev room. You saw the guy. He was like, he had an MP7. He was running with it, and you saw, the bag was moving, and then he folded the stock, and then he had the gun up like this, and he was running. And so they did so much. So this is super interesting, man. The subset of running animation that you get is based on the size of your gun now, in length.
That makes sense. I mean, they'd have to do that unless it would clip or make all the animations look wrong for everything.
So like a 5-slot gun, which would be like, a shorty M4, he swings it around a decent amount. A 6-slot gun, it's a little bit less. A 7-slot would be like a long bolty with a suppressor, and he moves it around a lot less. It was like subtle, but it just like looked super clean. And then they showed those three back next to each other, and then they showed grenade, like holding a grenade out and running, having a pistol out and running, and then having a 2-slot weapon. So like a 2-slot weapon, like a pistol's a 2-slot, but a pistol's its own category. A 2-slot weapon would be like a folded MP7, right? Or like an MP5K. And you run with it up like this, like he's running like this. And they just look.
Oh my God, akimbo weapons,
dude. Imagine. And then they completely revamped sidestepping.
Like when you like alt Q and E,
leaning
or whatever the hotkey is.
Leaning and sidestepping look like your character actually takes a step out, like moves 1 foot out and then leans.
They don't just whoop,
exactly.
Just slide.
Yes, he takes a step in that direction and then leans in both directions. Oh, and then the meme was crouch, because they were like running and they put crouch, but they misspelled it and they spelled crouch in the video.
Oh no.
So crouch meta is a new thing.
God, I love the birth of new memes.
Yep. Crouch meta. He said something about it. And then they showed like a top down of like characters like running in a serpentine, and like the whole body, like, so when you switch directions, your whole body will like lean the direction, like with the momentum, not too much, but like it basically, it's like visual inertia. Like, I don't think your character's hit by, but like it just looks a lot smoother and a lot more realistic. And it just looks dope. It just looks really cool.
Pog.
I feel like I'm out of breath. So that is the new patch coming soon, but we don't know when. There'll be a wipe, new guns, remodeled cosmetics, offline co-op, the lighthouse expansion, the new special slots, flares, roaming bosses, new voices, AMD FSR, Scav dailies, night vision rework, and the new animations. So it's not an insignificant patch. You know what I mean? A lot of that stuff is going to be stuff. It's not an insignificant patch, but a week into the wipe, the only thing you're going to remember that came with the wipe is the lighthouse expansion. You know what I mean? And the guns.
True.
Does that make sense?
God, like, you're such a negative Nancy.
Yeah,
dude.
like it's one of those. This is going to be exactly why I don't want to wipe right now.
Yeah.
Because we get mega hype for a wipe. The patch notes are going to be super long, and it's going to give this, and it's all going to be quality of life or back end stuff. And 2 weeks into the wipe, people will be running around with killer armors. This is why I don't want wipes. Not because I'm against wipes. This is a big patch. This is a good patch. We need these things. Some of these are quality of life. Some of these are like surprise things that are really cool that they're blessing the community with. Some of these are really important things like the expansion. But this is not a wipe that fixes wipes. The early game will last 3 weeks. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like set your expectations, man. Like this every wipe, the early game, the fabled mythical early game that everybody loves, gets shorter because the skill gap is increasing. People are getting better at the game and more efficient at the game. And this wipe will be no different. There's not a...
Well, the last wipe was the first time that, like, you look at the trend of, like, well, I guess it would go down, right? The early wipe goes down, and this was the first time it was like a brief uptick. Like, have we filled the hole in the ozone layer a little bit?
Oh,
to where,
yeah,
you know...
for sure. I will definitely agree with you there. Yeah, because of the flea market changes, all these new quests to do on Lighthouse. Like, I absolutely agree. The 12.12 was the most significant needle push, but it was still only like a few degrees that it pushed the needle, and nothing in this patch screams to me that it will push. It won't bring the, needle down, but it's not going to push it back in the right direction.
It's going to be exactly the same as last wipe. And mark my words, all of the people, I guarantee it's like 20% of the community, because most of them are new. They've basically been saying, I can't wait for the wipe because the game is going to be fresh. And it's like the solution to everything. Wait until 4 weeks in, and 18 of that 20% are going to come to the realization, wipes aren't the solution to the staleness of the game. Yeah. And then now they're going to be the grizzled veterans when all the new people that come in after them be like, oh, you want the wipe, huh? Well, the wipe is, and they're going to pretend like they fucking knew all along.
100%. 100%. All the things become shorter. Like you said, this wipe was the first time with the fleet changes and inertia that it actually extended it a tiny bit. But like the early game gets shorter because now everybody's done these quests. Now everybody's done a wipe before. So they get a little bit more efficient. So they get that gear a little bit faster. You're going to start seeing the, 7 streamers are going to be level 40 in 2 days. And then people are going to watch those streamers and assume all the streamers. 2 weeks in, you're going to have people saying, I'm dying to Chad's every raid because they died to one guy in a killer armor, you know what I mean, in a mask.
And they saw the one streamer.
Yep. The early wipe is going to be longer, and everything that happens after that is going to happen a little bit sooner. Like, let's say from wipe day to the first time you hear somebody go, my raids are dead. If that was 300 days, this wipe, it'll be 275. Every wipe without big sweeping changes, all of those metrics, whether it's the early game is over, my raids are dead, everybody's Chads, I left, all of these metrics, when's the wipe, they all come shorter and shorter and shorter. And that's why people think wipes are lasting longer. That's why when they did that 1.5 trillion ruble event, which was 4 months into the wipe, that's why people were saying it's time for a wipe. It's been 6 months, because all the things that they're used to hearing at the 6 month mark started happening at the 5 month mark, and then started happening at the 4 month mark because they haven't changed enough. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't wipe, because they're the devs, and maybe these network optimizations, maybe these animation optimizations, we know they've been working on Unity 2020 in the background. They might absolutely need to wipe with this patch. I am not here to say what they should or shouldn't do. I'm here to say, if you're a player, prepare yourself. This wipe is not going to change Tarkov forever.
Set realistic expectations.
Yeah, this wipe is not going to be the wipe where the early game is extended in perpetuity. Those things need something different. And we've talked about our ideas for some of those things at length in multiple previous episodes, if you would like to go back and watch. But this isn't it. Every single one of these things is amazing. I'm glad that development resources went to these things. I'm excited to get them in the game. But just set expectations. This is exactly why I don't want to wipe right now. Because as much as I think the end game is boring, I think this mythical early game,
the beginning,
yes, that only lasts 2 weeks is boring and annoying. So I'd choose boring over boring and annoying. So,
I mean, amen.
So
and that's the reason why I've been saying, if it wipes, I'm not going to come back.
Yes.
Because there's no reason for me to come back. And I'm not saying there's no reason for people to play.
No, yeah.
Like, when I say there's no reason for me to come back, people take it like personally. Like, I'm saying the game is, there's no reason to play the game. No, but when you have 10,000 hours and you've done the same golden pocket watch quest 150 fucking times, and now there's just more shit in your way.
Yeah. And that's really who we're talking to here. The people that talk about, if you've like, really we're talking about if you're at like 3+ wipes, where, because at that point you're in the crowd of like, yeah, let's wipe it. You know, the early game is so much better, the this and that. And then like you kind of get frustrated because the early game isn't as long as you remember it was, because the first time you were in the early game was your whole wipe because you sucked. And then now, you know what I mean? And now you're so efficient that you're like in 2 weeks, you've got a few slicks, you know, you've got a few meta M4s and you're like, I'm doing better. But you don't even realize that having those slicks week 2 of the wipe means a lot of people have this, you know, and so it's like, so if you're new to the game, if this is your first or second wipe, then love the wipe, appreciate the wipe, reset your stats. There's nothing you can do to mess up your character. I always say use wipes as learning tools. Like between now and the wipe, whatever you want to learn the hell out of it. If you want to get better at PvP, shift W every fight. The game is about to wipe. You can't ruin your character. Learn the maps you hate, learn the play styles you always want to do, get better at the game. The game is about to wipe. But if you've been 7, 8, 9+ wipes, that's who we're talking to when it's like, just remember, this wipe isn't going to fix the existential problem of Tarkov. Like, it's going to get boring, not even just as fast. Most likely a scotch faster this time.
Yep.
Now, the break in that would be if 3 months in they release Streets, right? That would be the game changer, because it would feel like early wipes because you'd have no idea what the hell you were doing on Streets, and that would feel good. It would bring in most likely tens of thousands of new players, which would extend this vibe of the early wipe when you're killing people. You're not just killing people with all this high tier loot. You know what I mean? Like the amount of high tier loot is dissipated a little bit more, and it could feel better. And I hope that that's what happens, but I'm worried that if we wipe, let's say in 1 to 2 months, and then Streets gets delayed to December, like this wipe, this summer to December will feel exactly the same as everything else, in spite of all these really cool things they're adding. You know what I mean?
So just as another kind of like vibe check, Lighthouse is really fucking new. Like, it's a new map.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody gives a fuck about Lighthouse. Everybody wants the Lighthouse expansion. So, again, prepare yourselves for a month in. You're just kind of like meh about Streets because it's just another map.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm good. You know, maybe I'm wrong. But like every time a new map comes out, this is what we needed. We needed the Shoreline expansion. We needed Interchange. We needed Reserve. We needed the Reserve Underground. We needed Labs.
Yeah.
Those maps were all the game-changing maps every single time. And then they get fucking old after 3 months.
Yeah.
And then there's another wipe, and you have to do them all over. It's, you know, so now, these are just the things that people need to think about when they're like, all they need to do is wipe. And the unstated assumption there is that so many folks in the community think when they wipe, that solves the problem with the game. Like, now the game is good again.
Yeah.
But because they can't see past the wipe day.
Yeah. And I agree with you on Streets. Like, I think there's so much hype around Streets because of how long, you know what I mean? How long we've been waiting. And I do think there might be like a little crash there where it's like, you know, this is a cool map, but it is just another map that once you learn, it's whatever. Now, I think it at least has potential to have more of an impact because of how big it is and because of how detailed it is and because it's going to take you a lot longer to learn and because, you know, they're positioning it to be much more dynamic. Multiple bosses, all this kind of stuff, the BTR that roams around the map. So, like, I definitely agree. Like, I think Streets will, like, last longer in the newness, but at the end of the day, you and me have said this so many times. At the end of the day, unless these new maps and these new things are then connected to features that allow for a much more dynamic player experience and player-generated content, that's what makes you feel new, right? Like, you know, Chernaris has been largely the same map for a decade in DayZ, but you still have a new feeling experience, You know what I mean? When you run around. So that's what we need in addition to these maps, because more maps.
But that's only the interaction with the players, though.
Yeah.
You know, like people don't have 10,000 hours in DayZ offline mode alone by themselves. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted.
No. Yeah. So it basically, yes. So we'll see. So yeah. So, oh yeah, that's where this came from. So, I'm not saying I'm not excited for this patch. I think this is a good patch. I think this is things that the game needs, and it's a pretty hefty one. That's a long list of things, and they always surprise us with stuff on the patch notes. So we're gonna get even more than this. Yep. So it's a good patch. It's a great patch. And if BSG says we need to wipe, I totally trust them that there's something development-wise that needs to. But set your expectations accordingly. And don't think that this is going to just fix the game.
No, honestly, at this point in the development process, I genuinely don't think that until they update like the engine, maybe, but even then, they've done engine updates without wipes a number of times. I don't think that there are. They've gone too far to make like huge game-breaking changes that would require. Right back in the day, you know, they might not have known like, oh, we needed these 7 new database tables and a bunch of data is corrupted because of a bunch of bugs. Let's just wipe because, you know,
I totally get what you're saying. Yeah.
I think they've just gone too far. Honestly, like, I know a lot of people agree with you, but I'd be willing to bet that if they look at the player numbers, the engagement numbers, you know, I mean, all I've done these days is every now and then I go live and I see in my follow list, like the streamer viewer numbers, and I see a lot of people who had 1,500 viewers, you know, or 800 or 700. Like, I think a lot of those, I think we're, you know, kind of in the down slope of the lull where the wipe or drops always, you know. So honestly, I'd be willing to bet you that the just wipe hype is real, and they're like, let's give the people what they want.
I completely agree. Like, if I had to guess, I would agree that that's part of it. And I would definitely agree that internally they think that too, where they're probably exactly right, where they're like, we don't really have anything that requires a wipe, and we don't even really have anything on the horizon that requires a wipe, but we don't want to not wipe for 2 years, so this seems like a good time, right? And everyone's like, yeah, this, you know what I mean? So I agree. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't a reason. Maybe there is a development reason. Maybe sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. But I agree that, like, I believe that that's a part of the conversation at BSG. Like, we don't want to go 2 years. You know what I mean? The player base is slowing down. The economy is atrocious. Like, let's you know, press the big red reset button. So we'll see. Speaking of Streets, we'll jump down to that. He didn't give us a whole lot of information there, which this was the biggest thing I was bummed about. Once again, like we talked about before, for Nikita, beaten down Nikita, who's been busted up so many times, who's given dates and then been called out for missing those dates. You know, the weathered Nikita, for him to just like on a whim on a Tuesday tweet out, everybody's asking about Streets. We want to have that out by the end of the summer. Like, I sensed a little bit of confidence in that, because I was like, damn, dude, why did you do that if you weren't confident? And we got, so I thought we were going to get something about Streets today. And basically he was like, Streets is almost done, you know, with the level design. It needs optimization. The optimization's not there. It's not where we want it. And then the language was very like, don't expect it soon. But then he ended it with like, and like we said, we really, it's sooner than you think. And I was like, it was like whiplash. It was like, it didn't sound like it was sooner than I thought when you were just talking. Maybe he didn't say sooner than he ended up, it was like a really depressing string of thoughts about Streets that he ended with doubling down on, like, and it'll be in your hands soon. And I was like, maybe, I don't know. So but that was it. Then he didn't talk about Streets anymore.
It's like every text message conversation I've ever had with every ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
I love you, baby.
I love you, but
I cheated on you a bunch, but
you're a great guy.
I've always hated you. You're a bag, but I want you back.
Exactly. It's an abusive relationship with Straight to Tarkov at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So take with that what you will. Who knows with Streets? But that was the Streets news, was basically no news. I'm pretty sure like you could almost go back and find a podcast and that would be almost verbatim what he said 11 months ago at the Summer Games Fest. The level design's almost done. It just needs optimization. It'll be in your hands sooner than you think. And that was 11 months ago. So I've been sucking the copium hard on Streets this year. So I hope I'm not let down again. I hope I don't go 2 years in a row where on the podcast I say it's going to be this year and then get burned.
I hope I'm wrong when I say 3 months after Streets come out, or I give it 2 months max, where you're like, okay, yeah, cool, Streets, like it was hype when it came out.
I think that's a possibility.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I think that's a possibility. I just think my hope is that like they're developing features alongside Streets. You know what I mean? With those things in mind, because that's always the vibe I was getting. Like,
yeah,
and that when Streets comes, it comes with things that does ultimately change the game at least a little bit, and maybe pushes the needle 10%, 15%, 20%. That's the hope. But I'm definitely not so, I'm not that optimistic that I'll say that there's no chance that Streets comes out and then a month later I'm like, hey, you want to play Woods? You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely possible. Okay, so he actually did this first, but then the next thing they were talking about was the arena. And he basically just rattled through a Q&A, but he read all the questions. Like he had prepared all, I guess he had just aggregated all the like most common questions about the arena, which is good because I can't stop thinking about the arena. I want to play the arena so bad, dude. I want to play it so bad. And he talked about testing because in the thing it said closed testing autumn 2020. And so he said that basically it's going to go out to like the most used ETS testers, the people that are the most active ETS testers. And then he did specifically say, and we will send out some invitations. So I don't know if that means to like content creators or huge streamers. I bet you $1 million they're going to hit up Shroud and be like, dude, do you want to try this? You know what I mean? Sign the NDA. Like, they're going to. But so ETS testers and some invitations, and that basically pseudo confirms that the testing will be under NDA. So like, it's not as close as we think. You know what I mean? Like the testing begins in autumn of 2022. If you're not on the ETS, you're not going to see Arena probably until like summer next year, which is bummer, dude, because I want it so bad.
Let's wait for the ETS applications or whatever to come in strong.
It's going to be nuts. Yeah.
It's going to be like their website during the code distribution.
Yeah. So EOD will remain available for sale until 1.0, which is a weird thing.
So like 2026-ish?
Yes. You know what I mean? At 1.0, they're going to get rid of EOD, which is kind of weird. I don't really get that. But basically, somebody asked that because
a lot of the perks come with, like, so many of the perks are
it's extra
pre-release
stash
related. Yeah, but you can expand your stash.
True. I don't know.
And that's only a new thing too. Like
I've never heard of a business reduce the amount of ways they can take money from people. You know what I mean? Like that's just a.
Well, there just might be something else.
Yeah, there could be.
But like, EOD has always been. It's almost like you're an early backer on Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. You know.
For sure. He was asked about the cost. Are you ready for this? This is the direct quote from Nikita.
Cost of
won't be too much money. That's all we got.
Wait, what do we do? The cost of
Arena standalone.
Oh, okay. I was like, entry fee for Arena. What do you mean?
Won't be too much money. So,
what the actual
anywhere between 99 cents and $100, I would say, would be the range. Like, dude, $9.99, $19.35. The base game is what, like $45, $50?
I feel like it would have to be like $7.99, or it's gonna be $19.99.
I feel like $19.99. I feel like $19.99 is the lowest I'm gonna hope for. Which is, I mean, $20 for what the potential that it could be. That's pretty sick, but it's just like won't be too much money is a really interesting interesting way to put it.
Yeah, get ready for the
I guess we have a range of like anywhere between like $9.99 and $45, because I'm pretty sure he's on record saying it'll be cheaper than the base game of Tarkov.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's my recollection.
Yeah, so
too.
the range is, I feel like 35 would be at the top end, and I feel like either $14.99 is the lowest, and $34.99 would be the highest. Like probably in that range. But all we got is won't be too much money.
That seems like a good. That's some fucking No Man's Sky, Sean, whatever his name
Sean
is.
Murray, yeah.
Sean Murray answer.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's multiplayer, but there won't be many players.
You won't find them often. Yeah. They asked how many maps, and he said they're gonna release with 5 or 6 maps, which is sick.
Oh, I thought that was gonna be one, and then like maybe
dude,
later.
Me too, bro. Me too. And he said they want to test. They want to do testing with 3 or 4. So they want to do the closed testing with 3 or 4 of the maps, and they want to release. He said, dude, he rattled this off with so much confidence. He's like, we want to release with like 5 or 6. We're probably going to do 3 or 4 with testing. He was like, we want to release many more after that. And then he immediately rattled off. He's like, we want to add like EFT locations. And then people were asking, and he was like, there's going to be outdoor maps, there's going to be indoor maps, and there's going to be nighttime maps. I mean, he wasn't like thinking about it. He was like, we want tons of maps. We want tons of dynamic in the maps. He's like, there's going to be like medium-sized maps, small-sized maps. I was like, yo, that's kind of sick.
Okay.
So, because they showed off 2 in the trailer. There's actually 2 maps in the trailer I'm almost 100% confident about.
All right, okay.
And then, yeah, dude. And then freaking, he said they want to release with like 5 or 6. So that's cool. Oh, and then are you ready, bro?
I'm fucking ready. Hit me.
He did confirm there will be custom games.
Custom
Yeah,
games?
you'll be able to do custom games.
Wait, what does that mean?
Where you can like just like have 10 people, 10 of your friends, and pick a mode or pick a thing. And then he said that they're working through how much he said that they are working on how many of the development tools they want to give the player access to. So you could be like pistols only. You know what I mean? Shotguns only. Everybody.
Would that be offline mode, or is that arena?
Armor.
Oh, okay. So we're in the context of arena.
Yeah, we're all only talking about the arena at this point.
I don't know why my brain instantly went to the offline co-op.
No. Custom.
So this is like some Halo.
Yes, dude. Dude, custom games is sick. That's gonna be so dope. Dude, I thought that was like a pipe dream, bro. I wanted it, but I was like, no way. And he was like, yeah, custom games. Now, we don't know the level of customization we'll have, but
I mean, so here's the thing:
even
like,
having anything is sick.
That doesn't seem super crazy, because of my assumption, based on literally nothing, maybe some shit I heard a year ago. I don't remember, but like my assumption has been for a while that you were gonna have randomized loadouts, or maybe one of the modes would be randomized loadouts. Either way, they have the ability to, like, the code underneath has the ability to, it's almost like the quests, where it's like Mad Libs, and you just insert in the things rather than randomly generate those things. Give the people drop-down menus.
Yes.
And now you have
infinite replayability in custom games. I don't know. That might be exactly what they're doing, but that's just exciting that there's going to be custom games. He said that they're planning a spectator mode. We don't know what that means. Like, maybe that's when you die. I don't know if that's when you die you can spectate, or if that's like you can a kill cam. Like, I don't know.
They better have free cam, and there better be a way to turn the HUD off.
Yeah, for sure.
There's nothing worse than when there's a free cam and there's like a bunch of shit on screen, so you have to like crop it out or whatever, because that will instantly make an infinite number of fucking awesome content for people to make.
I agree. So spectator mode, custom games. He specifically said that they're shooting for 100. The lowest they're shooting for is 100 tick rate on the servers. He's like, we want to potentially go up to 120, but we want to do 100.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe it when we see it for sure. But I'm saying that this is what Papa said.
I've been let down too many times by Dad not showing up to Christmas. Even, he said he wasn't going to work late.
Yeah, that when this year he says he's showing up in a Ferrari. You hope it's true, but
then you get the call while you're sitting there with your hot cocoa and you're waiting, and you get the call like, sorry, not going to be able to make it, kiddo. Next year.
You've got your Ferrari swag on. You got like the scarf with the Ferrari, so you'd be cool.
You're waiting at the front door, like, God, literally every Christmas special ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 100 tick rate servers. He alluded to the fact that there were going to be some sort of like task system in the arena. I'm assuming to unlock more presets, which we're actually going to connect that here in a little bit. But he said that
sounds like achievements or something.
Yeah,
similar?
Achievements maybe. He said there will be tasks in Escape from Tarkov that pertain to the arena, if you have it. So I don't know what that means. I don't know. So because this is what I hope happens. Like cosmetics is easy, but you can insert cosmetics for any other thing. I think there's a world where these games work really well together symbiotically, where like there's things. If you get an achievement in the arena, you have a cosmetic that's unlockable in Tarkov, and there are quest lines to do in Tarkov that unlock specific things in the arena. That alone helps mitigate it'll split the player base. Like I never really liked the Crucible in Destiny. I didn't like that, which was the arena. It was the PvP mode in Destiny. I mean, literally, Destiny is a great
like the Gulag. And,
yes,
yeah.
Destiny is a great example of this. By the way, it was one game. But it was like there was these open world maps. It was an MMO. It was PvE. It was raids. You were grinding for stuff. It was all this stuff. But then there was an entire basically Call of Duty built into Destiny. There were search and destroy. There was capture the flag. There was TDM. There was all this stuff, and those games existed together. And there was like, there was a Crucible vendor, and you got currency by playing and competing in Crucible games that you could then buy gear and then take out into the open world. And I played a bunch of the Crucible, even though I never was really into it, to get specific gear. So there's a universe where they incentivize playing both games. And if done well, that's a good thing. You know what I mean? It has more of the player base experience, more of the games. They could do arena dailies, you know what I mean? Like, and stuff like that. So
Scav Arena? I don't know why I've never thought about Scav Arena.
Scav Arena would be funny.
Where it's like arena, but you've got like 2 mags and a Makarov.
All the guns are at 14% durability.
It's just a fucking honestly, I feel like that would be
amazing.
Kind of fun, right?
Amazing.
Like the arena would be boring if it was always meta people, meta things, and whatever. Yeah. Mixing it up. That's why I like pistol shot, like Halo. Pistol shotties was fun.
100%. Shoddy snipes was fun.
Shoddy sniper.
SWAT was fun. Yeah. Speaking of SWAT, they were asked specifically about if there will be game modes where they will alter the combat. So like one shot kill, like SWAT greatly reduced the
hardcore
HP.
mode.
He was like, absolutely not, never. The arena will always be the exact same gunplay, movement, ballistics as Tarkov. Always.
Zero gravity.
Yeah. Now
rocket boosting.
Now that makes sense to me, knowing Nikita and knowing the vision he has for the game. Of course, it would be kind of cool to have zero gravity Tarkov or SWAT Tarkov. Like that would definitely be cool. But as of now, that will never happen. I know that there were a bunch of the Chads on the hard copium train that they would remove inertia from arena, and I was like, no way, fam. And he was like, no way, fam.
They're smoking crack.
I know, dude. I was like, I would not bet on it. So So the movement will be exactly the same. What was I gonna say though? Oh, okay. We'll come back. Hold on. Is it? Oh, so the host, you know, like in the trailer, there's like that guy's like announcing like what's happening and stuff like that. So Nikita said
he'd be sick if you could VoIP.
He didn't elaborate. Oh, that'd be sick. He didn't elaborate, but imagine you could shoutcast. Oh, that'd be so sick, dude.
Dude, imagine if you were
that'd
just
be
like
so sick, dude.
And then Pestily goes in and invites him, and they could hear it in game.
Rengar's coming in on the outside.
Dude,
that would
oh my
be
god. Well,
so dope.
Do you remember that BR that was popular briefly? That was almost like, I remember there being snow and there was kind of like bows and like and maybe some like magic. I don't remember, but I remember there was a BR that was almost like Hunger Games where the viewers could affect it.
Oh, Darwin Project.
Not the culling, maybe Darwin Project. Yeah. Where like there was also someone who was like the game master.
Yeah.
Who could like drop things for people or like power-ups or whatever. Like you could affect the game somehow. That would suck in Tarkov.
Yeah, but the ability idea of it, yeah.
If you were in the game commenting live and then also maybe controlling the free cam. Because just imagine you could host a tournament.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And imagine you're running around and I guess you wouldn't want to pipe it into the players because then you couldn't say like, oh, he's hiding behind the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe just a spectator mode with a free cam. Yeah. I guess that's all they need. Because you would be shoutcasting to circle. Your like chat.
Yeah.
Everything I just said, just cut the last 60 seconds. If you're listening to this on the podcast, that means Jesse didn't do the hard work of going back and cutting it.
I'm going to make this the intro to the podcast.
Get
anyways, God, where was I going with that? Oh, anyways, so we said there was a host, the host that was announcing over the trailer. Nikita said that if the game is going on too long, the host can release a cleanup crew of AI.
Oh god!
Like think like raiders or rogues or
that's what I just said.
Black
the host
Division, and
now we've gone full circle again.
And like they'll come in and like pose another threat, so you might like you know what I mean. You'd have to move if it was just like two dudes camping. You know what I mean? Which I think is a kind of cool way to do essentially just a time limit, right? It's a more dynamic way to do a time limit. Like, that's cool. There will be no secure container, which kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? You don't need meds or ammo shoved up your butt. It's in arena mode. You know what I mean? But people ask, so there'll be no secure container. But he said there will be loot like that spawns in. Now, once again, I think that's cool because if my loadout is an MP5 with 3 mags and I'm on fire and I run out of ammo, if I can pick up a Taz or an AK, it's better than nothing. You know what I mean? Or if I only have an AI2 and I heal up and I find a Salua. So
you get in a fight, your armor gets zeroed out. Maybe there's a fucking
even a 3M. It's like trooper, better than a zeroed out something. You know what I mean? So, so that I think is really actually cool. I would prefer that over just like you guys have what you have. Go in. It'll make it feel a little bit more like Tarkov, a little bit more dynamic, and I think it might affect the movement of the map. Right? It's not just like everybody clash in the middle. It's like I got hit long range. Now I'm gonna fall back, swing around here. I know there's a spawn. I want to try and pick something up. And it might just make it feel a little bit more dynamic and allow for a little bit more like 5-head plays of like, I hit that guy. I know he's going to go for the armor pickup. I'm going to flank around here. Boom. You know what I mean? So, so I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, totally. That's sick.
Okay. So yeah. So he said when he was at one of the questions was specifically about like gear and loadouts and like what that means because, because like, if you don't have Tarkov, how are you going to have gear? Do you have to buy stuff? And so he said there will be loadout presets, and he said there's like tons of them. And he said the word cards. I don't know what that means. He only said it once. I don't know what he was referencing to. But he was like, you'll be able to unlock, I think he said you'll be able to unlock more cards. And a card might be like a loadout or something.
Class preset or something, yeah.
But basically, he said you'll be able to unlock more of these presets as you go, as part of the progression system, which I think makes sense and is pretty cool. And then once again, he touched on it, but without really describing it, is if you have Tarkov, you'll be able to play your main character and pull in gear from your stash. You lose it if you die, but it's like that has to be balanced somehow, right? Like if you bought the arena for $14.99,
maybe that's just open mode, right? Where it's like
maybe
when you play a card game, right? There's always like standard, which is a
maybe
restriction.
it's like a free for all where it's just like there's no rules. You could come up against somebody with like, I don't know, but he said you'll be able to do that and you'll be able to bring in that gear. So I don't know how that would be balanced. There will be PvE modes, PvE only modes with waves of enemies. So that's kind of cool.
Okay.
And then somebody asked, one of the questions was, will I be able to gamble or bet on the winner of the match? And he said something like that will be happening. So like, I don't know what that means, but something like that will be happening is what he said.
Okay.
So I don't know what currency you'll do. He didn't touch on soft skills.
You're going to be able to connect your PayPal and buy coins, buy gems, but they get
Tar coin.
Yeah, it's going to be like $1.99 for 10 Tar coins.
Yeah.
But you can't, if you want to enter, it's 12 coins to enter, so you got to buy the 3-pack for $9.99.
Pull in some Diablo Immortal stuff.
The fucking savage monetization from like mobile games.
Yeah. I know some people
take advantage of.
I know some people are worried about that. I'm not at all. Nikita.
Oh, no, that's never going to be a thing. He's never been more adamant about anything
ever, other than that they won't monetize. They won't do microtransactions. He's not just like saying they won't do them. He's like morally and philosophically against them.
Yeah.
Like it's if it happens, Tarkov is dead. You know what I mean? Like if it happens, it's because Nikita quit. You know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah.
So I really,
that's the nuclear option.
That's the nuclear option. So
they get sued by Johnny Depp for defamation.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That's a timely reference. I can't wait for people a year from now who are catching up on the backlog of podcasts to be like, dust off that old reference.
That old meme. So I don't think there's going to be any sort of that. But that's so that's the info on Arena. Closed testing, which most likely means NDA. Lots of maps. We don't know how much it's going to cost. The whole point of it costing money is so that they could build a better server infrastructure. So he says 100 tick rate servers. Let's see. Yeah. Somebody asked, will you lose your gear in Arena? Yeah. If you're bringing in your gear from your Tarkov stash, you will lose it when you die. If you're not bringing in your gear from your Tarkov stash, you're most likely choosing from a loadout that wasn't yours anyway. So you'll lose that when you die.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be like a currency where like higher tier cards cost more money. You know what I mean? Like, because in
GP coins?
Yeah.
Oh my God, imagine.
Yeah, because in that sense, it's like that way you wouldn't have to like, it wouldn't necessarily be once you unlock the mutant card like preset, you're just only using the mutant preset. What if the mutant preset's really expensive and you're on a day of bad raids? You don't want to like, I don't know if that's how it's going to work. I don't know if it's just going to be like permanent unlocks like Call of Duty where once you unlock this gun, you just have that gun forever until you prestige. He didn't talk about a prestige system. Oh, this question was never specifically asked about like, will there be a ranked mode? But like in reference to some other questions, he said like no ranked. But I don't know if he was talking about a feature and saying that this feature won't be in the ranked mode or if there's not going to be a ranked mode.
Oh,
I would see not including a ranked mode as a huge L for the Arena. Like I think that
they have a fucking leaderboard and the website and all that for the non-competitive, the normal game. It would be absurd for them to not.
Yeah. So
I thought that was the whole fucking point.
Yeah. So I think that would be a hugely missed opportunity if there was no ranked mode.
Agreed.
But both of the times he said that were times that I was like, chat, what was he talking about? Because it was like in reference to something else. And so I'm not, full stop putting my stamp on. He said there's not going to be a ranked mode, but it just wasn't clear.
Yeah, that's funky.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I hope there will be. So that's it. That's all the things. That was the Tarkov TV podcast. Demirka sucking at Escape from Tarkov, and then a bunch of the patch is pretty significant. A lot of cool stuff coming. Arena, I'm dreaming about it on the daily. I want that to manifest. I want that to be here so bad. Oh my god.
Dude, there's gonna be fucking clans.
Oh god.
Can I be in your clan?
Yes, dude. Yes.
We need clan tags.
Pog.
I'll have to extend because I'm in like a Trackmania org basically called Evo.
Oh really?
I need to get them to go into Tarkov, and we're gonna be fucking Evo clan.
Yeah.
And we have to get t-shirts and sponsors and now FaZe Clan, dude. Yeah. Me and Jesse own FaZe Clan.
Yeah.
360 no scope montage.
Pog clan.
I've been working on some dubstep 2007 that we're gonna. I'm preparing for the montages.
Yeah. Leather Daddy clan.
Oh god, the Leather Daddies.
The Cream clan.
Oh. God, fucking Christ. Team Poggers. Team Cream.
Team Cream.
The Cream Dream. Oh nope.
Well, it's too late. You manifested that into reality. The Cream Dream will be that's it. That's it. Oh Jesus. Well, that's it. That was the podcast today. Nothing at Summer Games Fest. Basically what he said was they applied to be a part of the Summer Games Fest, and they submitted the arena trailer. That was where they were going to release it. But then he was like, the Summer Games Fest just never got back to us. So we just released it on our own. And so everybody thought they were going to, because they've been in there for the past few years. And then he was like, they didn't get back to us. So nothing at the Summer Games Fest. I
wonder if that's Ukraine,
Russia
related or something.
I don't know.
Maybe they just wanted to avoid any of that stuff. I don't know. Who knows?
But yeah, so that's the stuff, man. Arena's far away, but it's looking like it's gonna be sick. And this patch, once again, anywhere between next week and August, probably. But there will be a wipe, and a lot of new cool stuff, man. A lot of new cool stuff. So we'll see. Especially if we're going on 12/12. The day one patch notes for 12/12 had a ton of stuff that we didn't know was coming in the patch.
Yep.
You know what I mean? A lot more than usual even. So we've got a lot of stuff that they showed us right now. He literally said on the podcast, he was like, we want to show you more stuff, but we don't like showing you everything. We want you to just find some things as a surprise. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's a pretty hefty amount more. There's a lot more stuff going on in this patch. You know what I mean? But yeah. So that's it.
Odd.
That's it. You got any other stuff? Any things?
Nope.
All right.
I don't want to. I don't want to talk about food. No mukbang.
No mukbang. No mukbang. Just the Cream Dream.
Yeah. The only other thing worth mentioning is go fucking look up my Satire V channel.
Dude, yes.
All of you people that fucking hate Trackmania or don't know about it,
dude,
or don't think you're interested, watch it.
It's good.
I'll bet you $1 you'll either want to play the game, dude, every fucking day. Someone's like, I watched your video. I'm 5 hours into a fucking thing.
I get it.
Day.
I get it.
And even the people that were like, I'm not going to play, but that was a really good, 53 minutes or whatever. So go check it out.
I want Trackmania Mobile so bad because I don't want to be in this room any longer than I have to be. I spent so much time in this room. You know what I mean? Like,
true. When you're sitting on the toilet.
For real, dude. Every day,
the real gamer time.
I end my stream and I go out and I chill on the couch and I watch TV and I decompress. And
they're gonna say I go sit on the toilet.
I go sit on the toilet 2 hours. Like I would love that, bro. I'd love that. That'd be sick. But Trackmania looks great for sure. It's like the perfect video to watch like on your lunch break, dude. You're eating, you're chilling, you're watching some amazing Trackmania. But yeah. So that's it. That's the stuff. The podcast, the Tarkov TV Live. Lots of cool stuff. I hope that gave you the rundown. I also did I edited a recap video live on stream. That was fun. Show people how the sausage is made. The YouTube sausage.
You gotta love sausage.
Gotta love sausage. But yeah. Oh yeah, a few milestones. We haven't talked about this yet. We passed 10,000 subscribers on the podcast YouTube channel, which is dope. And we crossed 1 million views lifetime on the channel. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are
Hell
sick.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. Thanks. Let's keep it up.
Speaking of the poggers things in life,
yeah,
you guys are not. You guys are one of them.
Dude, in 20 more years, we'll have a silver play button.
Are they going to send us 2? Or are you and I going to have to...
Saw it in half, yeah.
Dude, that would actually be funny.
Yeah.
Or we could do, like when parents separate, y'all get it on the weekend.
Yeah.
You get it every other Thanksgiving. But I want Easter.
I have a photo shoot coming up, so I need it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Or we could just buy a house equidistant from where we both live, like what is that, like North Carolina or something?
It lives there.
We'll have the corporation buy it.
That feels like the most logical option.
We'll turn it into like some sort of meth lab to make it worth it. Yeah, I think that's the plan. I'll work on the details.
Yeah, that sounds good. But seriously though, thank you guys. Thank you for the support. 1 million views and freaking 1 million views and 10,000 subs is huge. So, sorry, I'm typing to Bellion. So thank you guys. This will be live on all the platforms on Monday. Yeah, we'll keep it up. Maybe we'll get some more stuff. This patch will be hit soon. Who knows? But until next time, we'll see you next time.
I'm a scat man.